Hello everyone and welcome. I am Melissa with TCT Crafts Designs and Decor, and today we are going to be making a spring summer wreath. I think it turned out absolutely beautiful. So we're doing oranges and yellows with these pretty little butterflies. I think it just turned out beautifully. So if you are ready to learn a summer grapevine wreath, then get ready. I'm going to go ahead and drop you down and we're going to get started. Okay y'all, so for this design we are going to start with our bow. So we are going to be using a 14-inch grapevine for this design. You can use a bigger grapevine. Just know that if you do a bigger grapevine, you're going to need more product. So smaller grapevine, smaller product. You could even go down to a 10-inch if you wanted to. But we're going to use a 14-inch. Y'all, something stuck there. And I'm just using one ribbon. So if you followed me for a little while, I'd say probably over the last couple of years, I really enjoyed a more simplistic bow. So I'm just using this one ribbon. This is a D. Stevens orange and black. We're making a summer wreath with oranges and yellows. So I thought this would be a pretty ribbon. So we're going to make our bow first. I'm going to get my tails. I'm going to keep my tails a little long. We can always trim them down. You can trim, but you can't add, right? So I'm giving myself a pretty good long tail. And then I'm going to pinch. And we're going to start. Let me give you the size on this. This is about I'm going to actually go down to about a 7.5 inch loop to start. About 7.5 inches. That's where I'm going to start. Okay, so I'm going to give myself 7.5 inches down below. Make sure that they are the same size. Now you can use a bow maker. If I'm just using one ribbon, sometimes two, I can usually do them by hand. More than that, I got to pull out the bow maker. So, and I'm going to go up about 1/2 inch on my sizing, and same thing on this, about 1/2 inch. I'm going to twist. And I think we're going to do maybe six loops. So this will probably be the last loop. We can add a loop later if we feel like we need another ribbon loop, but I'm going to go ahead and twist this off, tie this off here, and I'm actually going to cut this other tail, and we will get it added back to our design later, exactly where we want it. So I'm only going to have one tail right now, y'all. One tail. And I'm going to get a floral pick. You can tie your bow into your grapevine if you prefer. I like to pick mine. It's a technique I learned from another designer a couple years ago. And I really like this way because your bow doesn't get sucked into the wreath. It's nice and kind of popping out at you. So I am going to get this down into my wreath, and I am going to go, I don't need my pick that long, so actually let me cut it down just a little bit. And I'm going to go right about there. So that's right about the 10 o'clock window, I'd say. I'm going to give this pipe cleaner a lot of glue, and I'm going to glue right around that pick. We're going to anchor that here with some of our greenery so it'll stay in place for us. Let me get it. Sometimes you got to get a little bit of moss in there, so let me grab a little bit of moss. When you got a grapevine that's got a little bit bigger gaps in there, sometimes you just got to hit it with a little bit of moss there. All right, so we're just going to let that dry, and we're going to anchor our bow I am going to be using my favorite, which is this cottonwood ivy for this design. I use it all year long, but especially in spring and summer. So this is a partial that I already have used some of it. So we're going to finish this up. We're going to do a little bit on the table, and then I'll put you guys up on the easel and we'll finish our design out on the table. Okay, but I'm going to go in now. I'm going to take a piece of my greenery. I'm going to give it a bend. And I'm going to go right straight down next to that bow. Okay, let's get another piece. Again, I'm giving it a bend. I'm going to go right next to it on that side. Going to work my way around. On the sides, I'm using shorter pieces because I don't want to use a long piece coming way out here on the grapevine. So I'm using more shorter pieces on the sides. So again, right next to that pick, straight down. Work that piece. And then let's get one down here on the bottom. And then we'll get it up on the easel and we'll finish it out. It's just easier for me to kind of get the bow anchored, get a little bit of greenery on here before we get it up on the easel. Okay, so let me get us up on the easel now. I'm going to go ahead and add a hanger to this. So I just use these little plastic wooden, I don't know if they're wooden. I don't know, plastic or wooden, I don't remember. I think they're plastic. They feel plastic. Little hooks. You can use metal ones, whatever you want. I get them off Amazon. And I just use a zip tie. And give myself a little hook. I have also used in the past, do I have any? Yes, these little paper wrapped wires. And I use those sometimes, just whatever I grab. I like the little hooks more so lately than those others. So let me zoom us in. I'm going to give my little loops some love for a second. We may end up adding another loop, we'll see. But right now, that's what we got. All right, let's add some more ivy. I'm gonna go straight into the grapevine, right about there. Create a little bit greenery on the side here. That was one of my longer pieces. Do another longer piece. Sometimes you just got to play with these wires, get it to shape exactly like you want it. Alright, so I'm going to put that piece right there. So I've got a couple little short pieces left. I'm going to save those. So I'm going to get another one. Remember, that was a partial. So if you buy just one of these, you'll probably be good. We may use 1.5. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Depends on how full you want your wreath as well. If you don't want it as full, you won't need as much. I like my wreath usually pretty full. But if you want it more light and airy, you definitely can get away with one. Okay, I'm going to get a piece that I want to kind of come a little bit into our design. Again, I'm shaping my greenery like I want it. And again, if your greenery doesn't want to hold where you're placing it, use some moss. Just tuck that moss in there. Sometimes these grapevines, they got wider gaps in the vines, and it makes it hard sometimes to keep everything in there. I'm going to add maybe one more piece, and then we're going to add some florals, and we're just going to kind of go back and forth between florals and greenery. So I am using up some of my scraps today, y'all. So I'm using some scrap cosmos. So we have these orange cosmos in the shop. I'm using those up. I only have like 5 of them. And then I have some leftover, well, I have one full poppy bush. I'm not sure if we have this one in stock. We have some poppy bushes in stock. I just don't know if we have this one. And I have a little partial one here. And then I'm going to use this Globosa spray. I did bring a yellow, what is this, an allium? Snowball allium bush. And then we're going to add some fun little butterflies to this one as well. So we're using up scraps. So I'm going to take, I don't like the leaves on this. So we are not going to have that going on in here. So I'm just going to pull those off. I'm just going to cut the florals, the floral pieces that I want. I don't like these weird grasses. I'm picky on my grass, y'all. I have a hard time with grasses anyway. Just the way my brain works. Sometimes the wild wispy stuff I struggle with. But especially with grasses, I'm really picky. And these grasses are not, they're not pretty, y'all. Not pretty. So I'm going to I'm just taking the little flower bits off of here. All right, I'm going to take one of these little poppy pieces, and I want it to come kind of right next to this little piece of green where we have it coming in. I want it to kind of come into our wreath there. Get that one added there. Let's get another piece. Give it a bend. And then I think I want it sort of coming. I have this piece kind of coming through our bow. That piece will kind of hang over. It's all about placement, y'all. Little details. Just take some time with your placement. Make those flowers work for you. Make them go where you want them to go. Now I think I'm going to put this one on. Have another one here. Let's go. Let's go right there. I'm going to give this little poppy a little bend forward, sort of up, so we can see him. He's popping out of this. That one, we're going to go right there. I'm going to take a little bit of my cottonwood. And I'm going to place it kind of right next to this and intertwine those. We have a hole right here, so let's add, see, I think I have a bigger piece here. All right, I like that. Okay, let's get this piece. I think I want him to come sort of over our bow a little bit. This way we have this guy coming out. I want this guy to go down right there. Right there. You guys see what we have so far? Isn't that pretty? Nice and airy. Popping out at you. Nothing's flat against that grapevine. Okay, we have two more flowers. I'm gonna pick these two little pieces together. So far we haven't used picks, but we're using a pick now. Yeah, just pull that one right out of there. Let's put that little guy right there. And I'm gonna put a little greenery bit right next to him. One of my small greener bits. Okay, I have one more, so I'm gonna take these and pick them. Okay, so I'm taking my little scraps, put it on a pick. And then let me see where I want this guy. I think we need a little love over here. I'm going to take another little cottonwood piece. And he's going to kind of go in with this guy. I'm just going to kind of maneuver them together. I'm going to get another piece kind of right in there. All right, let's go in now with a couple of our cosmos. So I do not like the greenery on these cosmos, so I always just pick them off. If you like them, you can leave them on there, but I pick the little leaves off. Not a fan. I'm picky on the leaves, y'all. These ones, they have a very blue base to them. And the greenery that we're using is very green based or green yellow based. And I just don't personally like them, so that's all I gotta say about that. All right, this guy I want right in here, but I want it to kind of pop forward a little bit. There we go. All right, let's get another one. Let's see where we want this one. We can want this one kind of coming out of the bow as well. Right in there. And if you guys notice, I'm leaving these stems long. They are long stems because I want it popping out. I don't want anything flat on my grapevine. So this is going to have a lot of depth to it. So I'm going through those loops. Sort of into that grapevine. And that one's that's popping out. Do you see the dimension on this? I don't know if you guys can see. See the dimension? Look. Look how far away from that grapevine that is. Here's our grapevine. This flower's way out here. So we're creating some depth. And then I will always double check the backs of my wreaths. If anything goes through there, we will cut the stems and add a little bit of moss back there if we need to. This guy I think I want right here. And if you guys hear some tractoring, I apologize. My husband is trying to clean up around the shop, make it a little bit more pretty, and doing some work out there. So, okay, this guy we're going to put over here, but I want to give that a bend. I'm going to cut it down just a little bit, but again, we're leaving the stem pretty long. And then we're going to tuck one maybe right in there because we have 5. So I think we're going to go right there. That is perfect. I don't even want to pull it out. I'm just going to hit it with my glue gun. This will be a nice, pretty spring/summer wreath. All right, y'all. Let's add some of our fun little butterflies. So I brought 2 of these. I don't know if we're going to use just one or both of them, but I did bring 2. And these have some fun little twigs on them. So see these fun little twigs? So we are definitely using these guys. So I want this to come, let's see, put it a little bit more down, like that. Okay, let's get one of our little butterflies. I want him coming out of our bow right there. Isn't this fun? Isn't this fun one, y'all? I love these little butterfly sprays. When I saw them at market, I knew I had to get them. And I've made a couple things with them already. Let me get this in there exactly where I want it. I probably should have brought the glue gun to it. Alright, see how it's dancing at us, y'all. See how far it is? It's dancing. Way out there. Alright, we have another little twig. I want this guy thing to come sort of in. You know, we have this other stuff that we kind of brought in. So I'm going to put it over here. And I'm going to intertwine it with this ivy. There we go. Let's get another little butterfly. Let me see where I want him. I think I want him on this side. Maybe right in there. So I'm going to cut this stem down. Okay, and we have a third one. So I'm almost thinking about having it up there. And I'm going to add a piece of cottonwood behind it, just a little small piece, just to kind of help hold it. If that doesn't work, then I'll get the boss out. So we got 3 little butterflies going on in there. I still have one more little twiggy piece. I kind of want it coming out of our bow a little bit. Kind of like that. Okay, I'm going to hit that with a little bit more glue because I kind of played with it a little bit. I want to get a little piece of ivy underneath this tail. Kind of give us a little support. Play with that for a second, y'all. Okay, let me put a pick on it. Let's get our other tail added back before we go too much further. So I'm just going to take a piece of this ribbon. We're going to get it right back there. I'm going to make mine a little bit long. Just gonna pinch it, and I'm gonna put it on a metal pick. If you don't have a metal pick, you can use a wooden pick. But see, I just added a little pick onto that tail there. And now I can place it exactly where I want it back here. And I'm gonna get a little piece of the cottonwood. I don't want one that long, so this one probably will work. And I kind of put right under that. And now I gave it a little support. Y'all know why, you know we need those support, y'all ladies, right? Gotta have some support. So, got a little support there. If you wanted to take another piece of ribbon, you could do we could do a little, let's do it. I haven't done one of those in a while. We'll make a little bridge. So we can make a little bridge from this side over to here. So let me kind of see about how long I want it. Cut it right about here. Okay, so I'm just going to make my little bridge. And that's optional. If you don't like the little bridges, you can just leave them out. But now we have like a little bridge. We could almost even add another loop back here. Let me see if I want to add the other one. Almost add another loop back there. I kind of think I like that. So I'm making my own loop, and I'm just going to put it on a pick. I did not measure it. I'm kind of eyeballing it. That's probably a little too long, so I'm going to go a little further down. I'm going to cut that off just a little bit. I made it a little too long. Should have measured it, but I didn't. I never measure, y'all. I never measure. Probably should sometimes, but I don't. I'm going to move this a little bit more down. Right there. There we go. That's more better. All right. So I think we're just going to use the one butterfly spray. Now we got our tails. We need to fill in right here. We've got some places we got to fill in, but we've got some of these globosa sprays, and we have our little snowball allium. So let's use a few of these first. I'm going right behind the bow with that one. And that just adds some fun, wispiness, some more dancing motion for us. Going straight in. Again, I'll check the back when I'm done. If I went through anything, I'll clip it. And just add a little moss on there just to cover up our mechanics. I'm going to get a smaller piece here. So who decorates for summer? And if you decorate for summer, do you just do patriotic, or do you do more like summery colors? Y'all tell me in the comments. I know usually I don't decorate for summer other than just I'll leave my patriotic up. I'll put it up at like Memorial Day, and then I'll just leave it up all summer. But not everybody does that. Some people might put their patriotic up and then take it down and then do a summer. So y'all let me know. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't even know if I'm gonna do I don't even know what I'm going to do with my porch this year. I did put some, I put some faux flowers in my planters that are by my door. I used some ivy, not the cottonwood ivy, a different ivy that I have. I used it and put some hydrangeas, some artificial hydrangeas in my planters. So I have those in there right now. But I don't know if I'm going to change it out for Memorial Day and then leave the patriotic all summer. I haven't decided yet. Haven't decided yet, y'all. All right, let me see where I want this piece. I almost think we need it. All right, that's all the snowball alliums I'm gonna add. I'm just gonna do the one bush. Let's get our globosas, and then we'll finish filling in with any greenery that we need. And then that's gonna be it, y'all. That is gonna be all she wrote. Put that one right here. Okay, we had a little bit of a hole. So we're just going to kind of use these to fill in a little bit with our holes. I think I want a piece kind of coming into the center. These have a little bit of a bend, not a super strong bend, but they do bend. So you can kind of get them where you want them. I'm going to put this one back behind over here where we had our little, let me see. All right, so that guy's hanging out there. Maybe need one up there. Let's just get a little baby one. We'll put one right there. We still need something back here. Still got a little bit of a hole. So let's go. Right there with that one. That filled that in pretty good. All right, I have one more piece, y'all. Let's go over here. I'm gonna go straight into that grapevine. Going straight in. Maybe. There it goes. Okay. So I think that's all of the florals. Let's finish it up with a little bit of greenery. I think I want a piece coming right there. Still want a piece over on this side. This is a really long piece. We may end up cutting this guy because I kind of want a longer piece back there, but not that long. Yeah, see, that's way too long. Okay, let's get one of our shorter pieces. That's better. And if you want to go in with a different another greenery, you can. I had originally brought some of this myrtle leaf. Let's play for a minute. I don't think it really needs it, but if you want a little different greenery texture in there. So if you want a little bit of a different greenery texture in there, just to fill it in a little bit more, you can go in with these. Doesn't need it, not necessarily. It looks pretty with just cottonwood, but that's just me. I love the cottonwood, so I can just do an all cottonwood wreath and I'm totally fine with it. But if you want it a little bit more greenery and texture, just pull in a few of those. So I want to cut up one more because we've done a piece here, here, here. So we need to get a couple more pieces to go around the wreath. That was just a partial one, y'all. I was using it. Again, I'm giving it a bend. I'm going to go straight in on the side. All right, let's get like one more piece maybe. Let me see what one more piece would look like. Maybe even just half a piece. Let me take this other little piece that I just cut off. Put it right back here. I think that's it, y'all. We have our beautiful summer wreath. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous. So I'm gonna get some pictures of that and get it up for y'all. And if you enjoyed learning how to make this wreath and you want to learn how to make other wreaths, swag, centerpieces, arrangements, anything with faux flowers, we would love to have you subscribe, hit that little notification bell, and you'll be notified every time we have new tutorials. So until next time, bye y'all.